Alright, I got some coffee, so we should be able to jump into this here now. So, yesterday we played in the YouTube world. It was a bit of a rough start in the fact that there was a lot of hostile wild animals in the biome that I started in. There was lots of food, Not a whole lot of metals, but enough to get by, to get started anyways. And a weird, not a weird river, but a normal-ish river that's, you know, kind of I didn't really like so much. But we'll make our world C just SJM this time instead of it fully spelled out. And we'll generate a new world this time to get going in. So figured out a few things off camera. We need a lot more of that dried thatch than I made originally, because that'll get us our first bit of clothing. And I think I'm on the right track with the clothing, but maybe we'll have to look in the book to see, but we'll find out quickly enough. So this tutorial, we will go through it like normal terra firma craft, and I'll outline the differences from this HardRock variation from normal terra firma craft. But as we said yesterday, we kind of want to try and base as close as we can to our spawn, because unless we can kill an animal and get a large hide, we won't have a way to reset our spawn point. So taking a look at the map here to start, we definitely want to be by a river and hopefully have a hot spring nearby for free healing. Otherwise, you're going to end up spending a bunch of resources to try and heal as well. Alright, so which direction do I want to go? I think I want to go towards these trees. So it would be nice to have wood close by as well. And there was a so this zoom pneumatic chest plate launcher. Not sure, but this zoom on C doesn't work. And when I looked for the conflicts in the controls here, key C, it doesn't show any other things that are actually using C. So I don't understand what the try Z. No, Z doesn't work either. So that's super annoying. I can't figure out why we can't zoom, because that'll help us spot dangerous wild animals. But we'll just have to live without it, I guess. So we're going to start wandering, I guess. We're not going to be picking up pretty much anything right now, but we can mark some things on the map, like there will be clay underneath our feet right here, as evidenced by this Arthurian firm, and if we look at there, it says salt loam clay grass. So if I dug that up, I would get clay out of it. And just in case the clay isn't as prominent as it was in our first world, We definitely want to have it marked so that we can find it again easily. Should not be sprinting because we don't want to use up our water and food resources too quickly at the start either. Okay, so we're right beside the ocean. This is not a good place to be beside because we can't drink salt water. But we can follow along the shoreline of the ocean. Get some useful resources there, and then go upriver when we eventually do find a river. We'll break some carrots. So after breaking, we have to crouch to pick up. Oh. So the first one I broke didn't give me any fruit because and that happened to be onion. It's not horrible, I guess. But I don't want to have too much stuff clogging up my inventory either. You see, we only start with 3 hearts. So this mod pack has a mixture of the Terra Firmacraft health system as well as the Spice of Life health system. So your health is comprised both of a set number of hit points as well as the representation of those hit points by your hearts. So I could have 3 hearts there, as it shows there, but still have like 3,000 hit points, in which case, you know, getting hit with an arrow or a big swipe from a tiger or a cougar or something wouldn't even affect the number of hearts there, right? It'd take a few hits to get me down to even 2.5 hearts. But if I only have, say, 500 hit points, then all 3 of those hearts could probably get taken away with 1 hit by certain mobs. The way we increase our number of hearts is by eating different kinds of foods. If you know the Spice of Light mod, then that's pretty standard stuff for that mod. So having different kinds of foods is not a bad thing, is what the point I was trying to make there, I guess. Clay, right? There's a structure of some sort out there. Can I see it? I can. So I think that's from like Alex's mobs or something. I think there's a chest in that structure somewhere. It's supposed to be like the bones of a big, huge animal from long past. I don't think it's Alex's mobs, but it is a set structure for sure. Like I said, we're just going to be looking for a place to settle down here. It's kind of good that we're coming around in a big circle. That's decent. That we're kind of remaining semi-close to spawn here while searching for a place to settle down in. Kind of intentionally staying off of the beach itself so that I can find things like clay, like other food resources, so that I can mark them on my map, although I think I forgot to mark some things. I'm not marking all of this sugar cane because I don't even know that we need sugar cane, not in the early game anyways. Maybe more towards the the mid-game. When we need paper, we'll get sugarcane going, but definitely not early. Got more clay in here somewhere, right? Yep. Bunch of clay over there. So there's a good amount of clay in this biome. What kind of biome is this? Highlands? Rolling hills? Maybe I should be heading back in this direction, but that's kind of a long way to go to keep looking for a place to settle. These grapes I don't mark on the mini-map, well, because there's usually only one of them there, and as far as I know, we can't replant them yet until we get some infrastructure going. I think we need trellis before we can actually grow the grapes. This is definitely the longest I've ever gone in a Terra Firmacraft world without seeing a river of some kind. Sun's already going down here. Got a little bit of wheat here. And we can go straight west now, I guess. Cut across this. Potato. Stop sprinting. Sprinting for a couple of reasons, for, you know, food and water reasons, obviously, food and thirst, but also running across a ravine, especially with all of the long grass that's around, can be quite hurtful. Jute is going to be good to know about, but it's not a big pile of it, it's just a couple. We'll mark the jute. There's a pack of wolves there, so that's kind of good to notice that. It's one of the only predator animals you can actually see on the mini-map, are the wolves. But otherwise, things like the bears and the lions and silly little spiders, which just came in. Took a bite out of us. You see we've got locational damage, so in the bottom left it's got our body. So our head's taken some damage. Where can we see that? I think only if we have a healing item like a bandage. We don't see that the hit points for each positional piece, but because our legs are broken, we have slowness. Cow. go. One leg healed up a little bit, so we sped up slightly. And again, and a bunch more clay, too. Definitely when we get going, you really do go through a ton of clay, so knowing where a lot of it is isn't a bad thing. This is a better patch of jute. Rye. Could use some rye right about now, but all I've got is coffee. Oats. Plateau. This was the biome I was in yesterday. That was super dangerous. There was all sorts of big cats and rhinoceri. And a whole bunch of food. One thing the plateau is good for. There's a hot spring, because it says spring water. If you're looking at the bottom middle there, and then the coordinates, then the biome, which is plateau, and then spring water. And spring water is great. It's not good for drinking, but if you sit in it for a bit, you heal a lot faster than normal. No, jute. Big cat. So that's, yeah. That's the plateau in a nutshell. Alright, let's try going this way, I guess. We get a couple of effects when we're in our death mode, like we have night vision on, we also have slow falling active, as well as we can't take any temperature-based damage. We can, however, die again right away, because it doesn't protect us from animals. So if I tried to do a death run and that cat was still on top of my death point, he could kill me even though I'm in a ghostly shape right now. Pumpkins, I'm not going to bother marking pumpkins. I don't think they're good for much. Although I think we can make pumpkin slices and eat them in Terra Firma Craft, but I've never made a habit of doing that before, so... There is some fresh water here. No river, but that's fine. That's not a big problem. There's no real source of trees nearby either, which is a bit of a letdown. We could always chop down trees and then bring saplings over, but they take such a long time to grow. I'd rather have a somewhat decent source of wood at the start. The other thing that this pack has that's not in normal Terra Firma Craft is a sanity system. So if we look at the just to the left of the hotbar where my key is there's a brain. So your sanity will go down if you're wet or in the dark, underground, so on and so forth will drain your sanity, and being in the light, near campfires, obviously light again, will help bring your sanity up. I think eating foods brings your sanity up as well, and maybe being comfortable, like being in a house or something, works as well. Being close to an ocean is pretty decent, even though it's not good for the water. What it will be good for later is when we have to start doing big adventures and going looking for resources. You can travel a long ways across the ocean, right? In a boat, as opposed to trying to traverse across land. Look at that. Nothing anywhere. There's some spring water here. This is a spring for sure. Trees. But no fresh water, because this is salt water and this is spring water. Speaking of fresh water, I should probably really find some right about now. Or not right now, but fairly quickly. brutal. No rivers to speak of. So we're gonna have to settle for some like fresh water like this, I guess. Over this way more, I have access to this forest, fresh water, springs. I think I'm gonna head this way. From what I've seen so far, that's my best guess, and as I mentioned earlier, we don't want to be too far away from spawn. Because when we die, we're definitely going to be respawning back at spawn. Stop sprinting, please. It's just a bad play at this point. A bit of water there. I'll keep on keeping on though. Go to where I had indicated earlier. So it is in that plateau biome, which I kind of, you know, thinking about it, I don't want to be there in the plateau. Is this plateau up here? Oh yeah, it was Volcanic Mountain. Rolling hills. Generally, terra firma craft is not this brutal with the wild animals. I don't know if they've upped the spawn rate for HardRock or not. It's possible, but I'm not going to say that it's a definite because now, I've only played TFC for a couple of 100 hours, maybe at the most. I don't have that big of a experience with it. It's a mighty big ridge. Can we get up it? Not really. Bother marking bauxite for now. Getting lots of marks on our map though, I guess. Here, saltpeter, gypsum. Oh. Warped planks. Jungle planks. This is definitely some kind of structure up there. What would be great is if it was a structure that had chests in it, because storage in the early game in Terra Firma Craft is really painful. What do we have? What is this structure? It's a quiet place. Uh-oh. I heard a spider. Oh, that's a good sound. These guys are wildebeests. They'll charge you. They can do damage to you that way. But generally, they're not aggressive. So there's no actual way into this structure, it seems. We've been around the whole thing now. We'll sneak in this way. Even drinking fresh, clean water can give us blindness and nausea. Prefer the blindness to the nausea, to be honest. There's a chest. That goes upstairs. There's a barrel. Hey, there's some loot. And a bed. And a bed. Bed is huge. Ha, here we go. So if we have a band-aid, then we can see where we have injuries and we can apply the band-aid to heal those parts. So a little bit of food. I should probably take that. Sticks. All of our inventory is locked off at the start. Another feature of HardRock. And it's gonna be a while before we get access to that inventory again. Because we have to make like leather pouches. $3,000 blocks away. Alright, we're good on that. Some kind of adventure. It's not necessarily a hidden treasure map. There could be any number of things there, if I'm not mistaken. Structure or a pillager outpost, something like that. never expires, so yeah, no to rush on that. So we've got 2 cods here, and they won't stack on top of each other. But one's 7 days. They're both 7 days, right? But if we hit I, oh, one's, no, they're both raw. That's weird. They should stack when you hit I. They should combine, like the one that's more fresh will take on the expiry date of the one that's less fresh, but you get to stack them up. That's corn. Has no expiry on it, but we can eat it. That's interesting. So we've got fresh water. We've got a great big structure. We might have to build our way up. We'll have to get a ladder to come up here to get in and out of this place. Super horrible, and hopefully we can find some hard rock, pun I guess intended, over here so that we can actually do some napping. But we should get started into the nitty-gritty of the pack here now anyways. I'm not going to base actually right in the structure, but we can just use it to have access to all. We just had this all this bonus food, so we're not going to have to worry about food for quite some time, which is a good thing too. So this raw dacite, we're looking for something that's hardened. Is what's going to be important for the start. We have absolutely no storage space left, so I probably should have left some of this. There we go, we've got hardened stuff up there, so that's good. How about any of this? Don't think so, no. Probably should have left quite a bit of this stuff up there. But we'll have to rush to get a kiln so that we can seal it up. So we can make the expiry last a lot longer on them. All that in there. Eat that tropical fish. and we'll get to work. Alright, so we need some rocks like that. We just right click while they're on the ground, and it would be nice to have like the same kind of rock so that we don't have rocks clogging up our small inventory here. And sticks. We need some of this. Actually, I totally forgot about the quest book. So click on here for the quests, or it's also the tilde key to access the quest book. And we have to speed run through the first chapter, well, the first few different things to get to what actually matters for survival. So all this is like light reading stuff for you to do. Go through the survival chapter here, and I'll point out what's important here is near the end. Once we learn about clothing and or the temperature, I guess, gives us access to the clothing. So if we look at this toga, underneath the name there, it's got like the chest piece and then 4 purple bars. I believe that's insulating power. I believe that's what that is. So that will protect us from temperature changes pretty decently because of the insulating power on the toga. Whereas if we look at the green plant shirt, it's only got 3. But it does have 2 armor on the green plant shirt, whereas this toga has none. Right? It just has 80 durability. So probably the green plant stuff is what we're going to go for first, but when we get there we'll go over it. But this is an important one for survival. And then in the transport we have to do this tick quest to open up our first real part of the quest book, which is the pre-industrial age. So this just tells us about the Terra Firma Craft guidebook, which is in our inventory screen. So this button down here gets us access to the Terra Firma Craft generalized handbook here. So you can go to the index if you're looking for information on something specific, or you can just take it from front to back. Start with the world, getting started, advanced mechanics, so on and so forth, and different things for different parts. So I think Firmalife. No. What is it? Civilization? No. This is where you want to go for getting your boats up and going. So what mod is that? From? TFC Textile. Can't believe that's not a part of this. It is an add-on mod, I guess. Not a part of the official Terra Firma Craft part, I guess. Or mod itself. I just wanted to understand what the insulation levels were about. But the other thing that you can do with the clothing is you can add hides or silk or other materials to it to make it more cooling or more warming, as it were. 5. Nine stones should be enough to get us started. So in normal terra firma craft, we would take these stones, look up in the air, right click, and we would enter a napping screen where we would shape out a tool head that we wanted to use. But in HardRock that's changed, and this is why I was saying we needed to find this hardened rock. So if we left click with the stone against this hardened rock, we start to get our tool heads. And there's a chance that this fails or that the tool head breaks every time you do this. So that's why I grabbed 9 at the start. Because they cycle. So from the stones you get these hammerheads. Hammerheads turn into shovel heads. Don't need a hammerhead right now, so we're just gonna turn them all into shovels. Shovels turn into axe heads. Axe heads turn into hoe heads. And then hoes turn into knife blades. Knife blades then turn into spearheads. I'm not going to need a hoe right now either. Let's turn the hoes into 3 knives. And I'm not going to make a spear just yet either. So the next thing we need is plant fiber. So you're going to right click on a piece of grass and then plant fiber will drop out of it. And we take plant fiber and we're going to turn it into this raw plant string. So 2 raw plant string like that gives us our stone knife. Now with the stone knife we can actually left click on these to break them to give us plant fiber, whereas with an empty hand it won't give us anything. But we can still left click on these and sometimes it'll break and give us plant fiber. See, that one gave us 2 even. Or sometimes it will just give us plant fiber and then break it. So we actually ended up getting 4 out of that one. So with your knife you always want to be just kind of holding right click and go around, and we can start clearing out an area so that we can start claiming a space or building an area to live in here. You can see I've already built up a stack and a half with that one knife, whereas normally if you're just breaking it all with left click you get about 50-ish plant fiber per thing. So we're going to turn all of this plant fiber, actually hold on, we need to make sure that we can make another knife. Into this raw plant fiber block. And then we're going to place this down so it can dry. And when it dries, we get thatch. And thatch we can downcraft to get straw, and this stuff we're going to need tons of. But the thing we get with the straw is we can start making plant string. And then once we have the plant string, we can start making our first reel tool. So with the stick, normally you can craft these twigs straight into regular Minecraft sticks, but in HardRock you need to craft it with a knife to get the stick. And then you combine the stick with one of these dried plant strings, which you can get two ways. You can also put this the raw plant string onto a drying mat and dry it out, but it's much faster to do it this way with the plant fiber blocks. As I mentioned earlier, tool head, string, and a stick, and then we get our first reel tool. Let's see if I can do this perfectly. I crouch when I do this so I can pick up all of the drops that come off. Kind of want to end up on a multiple of 4 here. Easier said than done, obviously. Just never a multiple of 4. I got one. Just so I could clean up my inventory a bit. We can get these down to dry. So you can walk on top of the plant fiber block, but the thatch, you cannot. Now we're gonna go get our first wood. I think I'm gonna go up there and get these trees here first. But I guess first things first is we need a quick drink before we go and do that. There we go, we didn't get nausea this time, but we got broken legs from drinking water. That's the HardRock way, I guess. So we've got some chestnut trees here. Chopping down these trees, like underneath the trees we'll find the twigs so that we can get more sticks, but chopping down the trees we'll get a ton of sticks. So it says we're going to get 7 there. I bet we get a lot more than 7 sticks. And we got, I don't need that straw for now. We got 26 logs out of that one tree, and a number of seeds so that we can replant the trees. Having a look at what I could see from up top here. We're getting kind of hungry, so I'll have to go in and grab some of my emergency food. Or not emergency food, but cheaty food. Cheaty McCheaterton. Otherwise, I would have spent more time. We would have made a hoe so that we could gather food a little bit faster. And we would have had to gone out and do a food run to collect some food somewhere. But we don't need to because we have this structure. I'm gonna start planting a bunch of chestnut trees. And it will take quite a while for these to grow back up, as I mentioned earlier. So we do need to get started on that fairly early. But we do want to so we should have a good amount of thatch going there now. We can store logs by shift and right clicking, and then we can store up to 16 logs in a log pile. So there we ended up with, what, 26 chestnut logs for now, which is going to be really good. But we do need to get our food, because we can see the world has gone gray on us because we're low on food. It's going to be great because we can go over there and we can start eating a whole bunch of different kinds of foods and build up some of our spice of life hearts. I guess the only bad thing about this integration is that you can't see what your actual hit points are at. My feet are still broken from drinking that bad water earlier. It's just hilarious. Yep, and I thought that might happen because I can't sprint. Come up there so that we can actually get in. I guess we can show, let's eat first. I'm going to eat one piece of raw cod. It says that we shouldn't eat raw cod, but for now it's fine because we're just trying to get the bonuses. Says can cause food poisoning if not cooked/baked, but for now we're just going to do it so that we can eat, get the credit for the additional food type eaten. So there, we've gained an additional heart now, which is great. That just gives us more of a buffer for telling where our hit points are at in relation. So we'll grab that quick drink and then we'll get back out to... Yeah, figures I wouldn't make that jump. Collecting more of this plant fiber, and we're going to make our first set of armor here now. Now we're starting to get going good. And this is so that we can start hunting animals, because we definitely want to make a terra firma craft bed. And I don't want to be too cheaty with this structure that we found. Because this is supposed to be a tutorial type of or instructional playthrough or video. just crouching and right-clicking. Need to make sure we have 2 so that we can get our next knife. And by the time we burn through this knife, we should have lots of plant fiber for making some clothing, some armor. And we're even finding some food as well while we're doing this. Generalization, when you have food close to the place that you're going to be setting up your base, you want to leave this naturally occurring food as long as possible. And the reason for that is that it'll be there close by for an emergency later, if you happen to need it. Alright, so let's go back to the quest book, and we'll look in here. And if we hit A on these, we can bookmark the recipes. So that we know what we're doing either. So the pants need 2 pieces of plant string and 2 trouser legs. Each trouser leg takes 2 string and green plant fabric. Green plant fabric is made from 4 plant string. So on and so forth. So we can go ahead and count up. So we need 2 there. 6, 8, 10, 12, 14 of this green plant fabric. I'm just going to do all of this because I don't think we're going to be anywhere close to making it all. Let's make 8 for now. You can always make the helmet later. Try and get the tunic made first. You need 2 of these armlets. One of these tunics. One string. String, 2 armlets, and that. And now we've actually got some armor. As well as we can see in here, we've got some insulation. I think this is an insulation type bar. I'm not 100% on that yet, but insofar of what I've seen, that's what I believe. Right, so we do need to make another knife so that we can get some more plant fibers so that we can get the rest of these armor pieces made. I did want to pick up these ones here. They're kind of annoyingly in the way of... Oh, I guess never mind. There we go. We got 5, we got 7. 7 will work. As you see, having 2 different kinds, we can actually get around the cooldown a little bit. Did I only get 3 out of all of that? Some of it's fallen. And there, I guess that's a reason not to do that there. And by that I mean making the thatch underneath where I'm doing all of my work. That's fine. We've got a hardened one over here. Let's use this one instead. Still don't need a hoe just yet, so I'm gonna make 2 knives. Yep, thank you. And 1 set of javelin heads. Sticks. We can make our shovel now. 2 javelins. And put the standard way in early game Terra Firma for storage is just on the ground. You don't want to throw it on the ground with Q, because those will despawn, but if you use V, it will place it on the block. So large items take up the whole block, but on with smaller items you can fit 4 in on one block. Where my second knife blade went. Let's do that. I don't need this for now. I don't need this for now. I wish looking up in the rain. Oh, it does do it. Proper rain, you can get free clean water by looking straight up into it. Two of those. And the pants. And the hat. We need that. So we've got a good little bit of armor to start here. Leftover string. This will be for making future knives. And the thing about these is you can only put 1 item per each one on the block, so it does take up quite a bit of space. Same with these sticks. Putting sticks on the ground, it'll be 1 stick per slot, right? Right, so let's go grab some food and then we can do some exploring. We can mark out some more food. We need to collect some clay, I guess. We've got some right at our base, so that's not a big deal. Yeah, but let's go get some food. Get some more, maybe even get another bonus heart. And I guess check progression on our quest line here. So I didn't ever get 10 rocks at one time, and it's really wonky with the better questing mod in this pack, because we've had thatch in our inventory, we've had the straw in our inventory, but we never got credit for it. It's quite annoying, actually. Eat a mushroom, a raw potato, and a cooked potato. No nutrition on a mushroom. Okay. So those can go away. Far away. We do have an animal here we could hunt. So. What the heck? Was it because I was just too close to it? Is that what was going on there? Why can I not hit? I swear I'm gonna just quit this mod pack completely. That is absolute garbage combat. If we can't do combat, that is ridiculous levels of ineptitude. So we've got 16 ounces of pig carcass. Hang a dead animal on a hook from Butcher's Delight. Use any knife and dissect the meat. Alright, so let's take a look at so we can't do this until we can use metals. Alright, so there we go. Don't bother killing animals. Well, medium-sized animals anyways, medium or large, until you can work metals. How about hook? Fish hooks. That's rope. Alright. Well, my rage just got even more ragier. Let's see if we can put that down on the ground and carve it up. We'll try anyways. No harm in trying. Yeah, that combat was just wonky as all hell. Had no problem taking care of zombies and such yesterday with the spear. But that fast-moving little animal is definitely something different, that's for sure. Put you down on the ground. Need a knife. I got a knife right here, right? There we go, okay. Now we've got raw pork loin. A ½ ounce. So I guess maybe not, maybe because we didn't have it on the hook. We lost a whole bunch out of it, but I guess we could talk about a campfire, but that should be further along in the quest line. So let's see if we can't finish off this quest line here. Need to get 10 rocks. There, we've got 12 now. Quest line, are you going to give me... Can I submit, please? Items will be auto-detected. I beg to differ. Sometimes it helps to throw them out on the ground and then pick them all up at once. I'm pretty sure it's not 10 of one kind. Yeah, finally did give us credit for that. And rocks, if you want to store rocks, you can put up to 3 in a pile. But if you put them down with your placer, you can get 4 into a block space as opposed to 3. Those ones it's not going to matter, so we'll just do that. We need one of our thatch. Can you give us credit for the thatch, please? Finally. Quite a bit of this stuff now. Oops, I needed one of these. Okay, so we finally got that quest completed. So this is going to tell us about the napping system, which I already walked you through. So now I'm going to have to go and get all of those tool pieces again. We got 4 in that first try. Hammerhead is not in this list. gave us the stone. Credit for the axe head, please. No? Not just a straight no? Wow, we got shafted on those. Now we finally got the axe head. Credit for the knife now. Now that's the javelin. Oh no, I crafted both of the javelin heads. Okay, that's fine. Nice. Okay, we got credit for the javelin heads now. Credit. Oh, I need to make the long stick. So the long stick is 2 sticks and a piece of this string. So got that. There's the long stick. Now the long stick has uses for like more reachy type weapons. Like you could take 2 long sticks and combine it with a knife and get yourself a wooden pike that would have a good amount of reach. But the best thing to use it for is to craft it with itself, and we'll get a walking cane. So the wooden cane gives us plus 0.5 step height. And apparently it also helps us. See, I'm glad I didn't craft it yet until I got the credit for the thing. So from a long stick, you can create wooden canes that will help you travel through grass and snow, and it gives us step up. So it's not auto jump, it's step up. So rather than having to jump up there, we can just move into it like a horse. Like we're mounted on a horse. It's pretty much my favorite ability in Minecraft, is having access to that. Now that we've got credit for all of these tools, we can put them back on the ground. Need a knife. Put this back into the thatch. We'll make a whole bunch of more thatch later, but for now we've got a pretty good amount of it for the early game. Alright, continue on with the questing. So this is why I've tried to hunt that animal, and we didn't get any hide out of it. But before we can make the soak tide and the scrape tide, we have to put it into a barrel, and we can't make a barrel until we have metal tools. So that's a long ways off anyways. Same with the tallow. Tallow we get from hunting animals, and we can't use it until we've got the other things. The animal trap is something that we could explore. No, we can't, because we need metal tools to make this lumber. So we have to leave that quest line alone for now. If we were close by a river, we could hunt some fish and get credit for this one. I guess in hindsight, if I hadn't eaten all that cod, then I'd have access to getting that fish one, but not anymore. But we could go over here, we could get some logs, which we've already chopped down the tree, so we just have to get credit that way for that quest there. And the fire starter, which is just 2 sticks. Just going to make 4 of these off the start. A, to chew up some sticks, and B, because these get used up really quickly. Now my campfire. Oh, I'm going to need some logs. Drop 1 log and 3 sticks onto the same surface. So I only need 1 log. I thought it was 3, but actually let's make our campfire here. Yeah, that should be fine. So 3 sticks and 1 log. And then you right-click the fire starter. Now, if I had just right-clicked the fire starter on the pile of items there, it would not have. I would have picked up the items instead of actually drawing on the fire starter itself. So you aim away from it and then drag it onto it to get that initial one going. And I can leave all these fire starters here. And we've got some pork loin that we can cook up. Looks like I need some water, so we'll go get a drink while that's cooking. And of course we get a broken arm this time from drinking bad water. And we can feed sticks to the fire to extend the duration of it as well, rather than use whole logs all the time. And we'll always have an abundance of sticks, pretty much. This is not cooking. Guess this temperature will go up. Yeah, I don't know what temperature this needs to be to actually cook. The first time I've ever had any issues with actually cooking this. Oh, maybe I should have used the cutting board to cut it into raw pork. How do we make a cutting board? A log and a knife. Alright. Grab that. One of those. No, I'm at a loss. What is this used for? Plant shoes. To make plant shoes. Interesting. It cuts down into sticks. Silly hot pork loin. I meant to click the fire. Come on, please, game. And the fire went out. That's fine. It's not actually hot anymore, or too hot, I guess. So we could tame an opossum if we cut it down that way. But I want a cutting board. Is that a log? And oh, it might need to be a metal knife. Flint knife is there, bone knife is there. Stone knife is there too. It's the top right. Oh, it has to be a stripped piece of wood. Okay, alright. So let's get the stripped wood again. Put that down. Strip it. Ton of this stuff. Now break this. I've got broken arms, so this is absolutely ridiculous. So in the quest book under survive we had under important health and stamina. I'm going to claim some of these band-aids. Does not heal my arm because I've got the mining fatigue. Okay, so both my arms are healed now and I can actually so much garbage. Terraformacraft, you're so good at that. And we get 2 cutting boards out of that. Joy. And we got some bones too. Bones are cool. Ah, so we ended up with 6 ounces of raw pork. Not bad. Shift, right click. Now we should start to be able to cook some of our pork. But I do want to eat one of them raw so that we get the credit for it. This is going to be the death of me. Why doesn't... Chunk pre-generator, we don't need this. Car, don't need that. Stack food is the one I want to work. Spartan weaponry, you don't need that. There we go. So that's the food stacking. If you just hover on it and push I once you've resolved all of your conflicts. Oh, and then the fire went out. So frustrating because I'm not paying attention to it, right? Okay, finally got you to stack properly. Oh, so frustrating. Oh, I need 10 of those beams to complete that quest line, so we're not doing that just yet. But now we can move on to clay. Finally moving on to clay. Shovel. And we've got lots of clay right here. That's a lot of clay. That's a lot of clay. So with the clay, we can then go ahead and make all of these items. But the important one is going to be this unfired large vessel. So this is made clay napping. It'll take 5 clay balls and you carve it out like this. So you leave the edges there like that and you carve out the middle. and you'll get an unfired large vessel. So we've got 56 clay balls. We open her up, we do that pattern like that. That gives us our unfired large vessel. Is it going to give us credit? Of course not. Why would it give us credit for it? I'm really starting to despise the questing book in this pack. Very much not a fan. Jesus. At any rate, let's put that spare gravel down there for now. Now the real reason why V places items in the world is for doing pit kilns. So this is where we use V to place it down on the ground inside there. And we need 8 pieces of straw and 8 pieces of wood. Turn the thatch into straw. And just right click it in there, right click that stuff in there. Grab a fire starter, shift, start the fire on there, and that's what we call a pit kiln, which is used for curing these unfired items. But the reason why the unfired large vessel is important is we can use it like a backpack and store things in it and carry around, have extra space for inventory while we're locked out of all these inventory slots. But also, if we put it down on the ground and we put our food into it and then seal it, the food will last a lot longer that way. And also it gives us chest-like storage, is the other big thing that it will do for us. Let's go and make some of the other items. So I made the recipe wrong, so I lose the 5 things, and I didn't need that one out. I'm trying to make this unfired jug. And just for now, we're going to put these onto the ground. There we go, we finally got credit for those. We need a chisel mold. We need a pickaxe mold. That's not the pickaxe mold? Okay. Oh, it's inverse. So instead of making it the shape of what we want, we make it the inverse shape. I forgot about that part of it. Okay. There, there, and there for a pickaxe. There's lots and lots of clay here, so I'm not too worried about doing that. Then we need the Pro pick and the blade and the unfired pan. Okay, so the saw is, you leave that and that. So an L and a W. pro pick is like that. Okay. We already messed this up. Right? Yes. This is backwards. It needed to be opposite of that. Not like that. I swear that was the saw. No. And we're not losing the clay, so I'm not worried about getting these wrong. So a bowl would be like that, right? Yes, but we don't need a bowl. Don't need them right now anyways. You might be able to use them later. Right, back here. Oh, it's bigger than that. Okay. This one is, oh, it's thicker. Okay. We'll worry about the pro pick later. There's the pan. Oh, I messed that up already. 2, 3, here. There's the saw. Now it's just the pro pick, right? There, we got all of the ceramics done. This finished over here yet? Got 25 seconds left, so that was pretty good timing. I can make one more mold. What's one more mold? One more of these can't hurt. Unfired vessels. Right, and then we can go over food storage. So if we put that down, and we put these things in it, this is 10 days and this is 14 days, but if I push this button over here, this is now 20 days and 28 days. So it doubles the amount of time that you can store your food for. The only downside being you have to seal it and unseal it every time you want to get your food out, or anything out of it. The other thing we can also do is we can store, you know, our full stacks of items in this unfired vessel now. Right, so let's get this, and this, and I guess this one. Yes. Is there something that we could do to this? To make it go further? No. I think though that we can strip it. And get a little bit of extra mileage out of that bark. Like we can make those shoes we were thinking about earlier. May as well try and make those shoes now, right? Okay. Need four of those and one of those. There's our knife. Two more. One string for each of those. One there and one... No. Oh, I need it to be a right foot protection, not a left. Gotcha. Okay. Got it. Right. We need a knife blade. There we are. And that's garbage. Oh, I've already got a knife. Never mind. Continue cleaning up our area here. those two like that. No. We need the right boot this time. No, we have a left. Left again. Swear to God. What's the right? Oh, there it is. You have to use this thing. Aha. There, now we got the right foot one. Oh, look, and our armor's completely gone from that one fight with that boar. That's interesting, too. Okay, is this finished yet? Minute and a half. Drink of water. And get the wooziness. Look at. So we need a lot of wood to get charcoal, so that'll be a little bit later. Now we need to get all of these things done in the pit kiln. This tells you how to do the pit kiln here that I went over already. So 8 straw and 8 logs and a fire starter, right? Never made a hoe yet, that's fine. And we could make this oven to start making bread, but I don't even think there's kerns in this version. Oh, there is. We need a pickaxe before we can do that. We need metals before we can get the pickaxe, so... Silly hot items. Now we have slowness too, so. The recipe for these is pretty easy, right? Nope, not that easy. So 2 string and 2 straw to make this canvas rug. 2 canvas rugs to make the piece of canvas. And then we need healing paste to make the plasters. So what's healing paste? Tree bark paste, medical white powder, a cutting cattail root, and beeswax. Insane. I guess those aren't so easy to make. Well, the vessels are great because they can hold, like the large vessel, they can't hold quite as much because this can hold full stacks in each. These vessels can hold half stacks, and there's 4 slots in each, so you can expand your inventory. And the ceramic jug has 2 uses. While it's empty, you can make music with it, or you can hold water in it, so you can take water with you on the go for adventuring. So, I've got my walking stick, I've got a weapon, and I've got some extra storage. We have everything we need to go out and do some exploring. So let's go and do that now. There's a great big huge lake up there. Let's kind of go explore around that. We might be able to pick off some fish out of there instead of needing a river to find fish. We want to go that way. Guess we'll just walk around this way. We need to go this way. No idea what this great big stuff is for, a Arundo. Oh, that's brutal. Oh, we got so lucky that we were able to get out of there. That's almost always a death trap to fall into one of those guys. Because it's all stone down there and you can't break it to get yourself building blocks to get out. Usually easiest just to try and kill yourself or get a monster to kill you. Alright, so we can throw spears to catch fish. Why fish always run away from us when we get close to them. You can attack them normally, but it's better to throw the spear. Just kind of have to imagine where the reticle is supposed to be so that you can aim properly. Could go for an antelope. Okay. You don't need the plant fibers. Some suet. And some bone. So that's what I mean about traveling essentials. We could have another large vessel on us. But it does slow you down in the fact that you have to put it down on the ground every time you want to use it. But you can hold, you get 9 places for storage, as well as it can hold larger stacks than the vessels can. So that was the big lake. We got a large hide out of that, didn't we? Medium hide. Yeah, if we could make a barrel, once we get a saw, then we could make leather. We need to kill a big animal to get a large hide so that we could make the bed. Actually, let's go back and see if we can make it with the medium hide. For some reason, I think that we can. Don't know why I have that in my head. I think it has to be a large hide, but medium hide might work. Oops, kind of almost going the wrong way there. Forgot we don't need to jump. We've got our squawking stick. We were over there. Right. What's this? I did not know that there were geodes in Terra Firma. That's pretty sweet. That's quite the lucky find to have right in our base area. I don't know what we can do with it yet, but it's not quite raining hard enough to be able to drink. Get our medium hide. 2 thatch. Yeah, it has to be a large hide, not a medium one. That's fine. Old standby of ground storage. We've got a good amount of bone here. We can make bone knives instead of stone knives now. There is a bit of a trick to it, which I can go over. But I wanted to cook this last piece of raw pork along with this other food first. Right click the log in there. Start getting some of that cooked again. Just does not want to stack. Even with the I button. Get a little bit more cooked while it cools off. Yeah, we did get it cooked. This wood ash we do want to hold on to because that's how we make the slaked lime that we saw earlier. Still doesn't want to combine. That's fine. There, now we've got another heart. So we'll take a look at a couple of other things and we'll wrap up this episode here. So in here we already talked about the manual for Terra Firma Craft, but there's a bunch of information here as well. So there is the calendar, so this tells us it's early summer. We started on June 1st, so it's technically the 8th day that we're into now. Day and time there. This tells us about our nutrition. We've been eating lots of meat, so our protein bar is right up to the top. So depending on the fullness of these bars determines how many actual hit points we have, because these hearts are not static amounts of hit points like in normal Minecraft. So the more full these bars are, the higher your actual hit points are. This is the climate. So we are currently in a subtropical biome. The average temperature is 12 degrees and the rainfall is 317 millimeters. So we're actually quite close to the equator here. And we could probably also tell that by if we looked at our X and Y coordinates here. So we're only 1,000 on the X. Oh no, we're 3,000 on the Y, right? Yeah. So if we headed south, we would get colder, because the Z is going higher as we move our cursor down. So if we go north, we'll get warmer climates until we hit the 0 on the Z, and then when we get into negative Z's, then it will start getting colder again. This is a pillager outpost actually, now that I'm looking at it. But that climate will come into play with some certain things later. Like once we get into like the late mid-game, I guess, when you start needing fire clay, then you have to go to a certain biome with certain restrictions, like you need average temperature of 18 degrees and rainfall over 300 or more to find kaolin clay. But that's for a lot later. And yeah, so that's been the first episode of the sort of beginner's guide to HardRock Terra Firma Craft. Hope you all enjoyed. I apologize for some of the frustrations, but that's TFC in a nutshell. It's always going to be frustrating on some levels, and especially when the mod pack developer is making even further changes to Terra Firma Craft in and of itself. Anyways, I appreciate you all for checking out the live stream or the video, and we will see you all in the next one. Bye!